As soon as I read the script and I opened the page and it said England 1348 and said the plague, I pretty much wanted to do it.
Okay, here we go. Stand by, shoot.
The period alone, I thought, I've never seen a film that's dealt with horror or violence or any of this kind of stuff done in a period film. The story of Black Death is about Osmond, a young monk who is torn between his absolute love for God and his love for a girl he grew up with called Avril. It's set during the Black Death, a plague that killed 50% of the population of Europe. It's got this kind of road movie quality. They're riding up the river to see Colonel Kurtz. As they ride up the river, the world gets more and more twisted and dark. It's got Western undertones as well. They have to ride off and kill this Indian chief. It's like a guys on a mission movie, effectively. It's a guys on a mission movie set in medieval England.
We journey into hell, but God travels with us.
I am Ulrich, envoy to the bishop. What I say now does not leave these walls.
I love Sean. I've always thought that Sean's just one of my favourite actors in England, really. The chance to work with Sean was a big thing for me, and I kind of felt that I'd get on with him. I don't know why. He's got that way, that because of who he is and because he's kind of like a nice kind of guy from a working class background, I think people in England all think that Sean's just going to be Sean, and the thing is, he's just a lovely guy.
Where am I?
Just doing his beard.
I mean, he's Sean Bean. He's one of the coolest guys on the planet. He doesn't even have to try.
He comes on set and he is Ulrich rather than Sean Bean. You know, he brings that onto set with him and it makes everyone lift their game.
One minute I'm in my trailer, just kind of putting my costume on for the first time. The next minute I'm on the back of a horse, riding towards a medieval monastery behind Sean Bean. That first shot just felt very surreal.
The man is not only a legend and kind and brilliant, the intuitive and as an actor, but also seeing him on a horse. I've never seen someone who's more built to sit on a horse.
You see Sean coming towards you on a horse, you're like, wow, that's a movie star.
Where we're bringing our stuff. We're bringing our
Yeah.
Should we have?
You should have stuff. You should have your breastplate, yeah.
He's got his stuff.
Yeah.
Got my dead body.
He needs some care.
He's got his stuff.
Where's mine?
So unassuming. You sort of want to give him a cuddle and go, oh, you're all right, aren't you, mate? You're all right. He's just lovely.
I think when I said you did well, I should be kind.
Yeah, that's probably the end of it, really. Cut, beautiful.
Chris Smith has been a treat and completely unique to work for.
Some are walking towards me, and some are not. So my just natural reaction is, right, here we go.
That's fine.
This is, okay, good.
Fine of you,
and we go with it.
Yeah, it's fine.
He's very good at trusting an actor's instinct, but ultimately he trusts his own. You don't come across that very often.
See, that's enough. Already, that's already a great look you're doing there.
He's fantastic with actors. He's got extraordinary energy. It just fires everybody up, including cast and crew.
I love that.
And you have a good time. I mean, you actually have a good time, which isn't always the case on film.
He loves it. He loves what he does. When a scene goes right, he literally guffaws, sometimes a la sort of Terry Gilliam, you know.
Whenever you get a laugh from Chris, however dramatic the scene is meant to be, you know it's a good sign. Genius. That is brilliant.
He's so full of energy and he's got his story and his characters down pat. It's exciting to see somebody who so loves this world that he has created.
Because we thought you were Mr. Pious.
He keeps coming up every day with new stuff, new ways to take the framework of the films and take it, that much further. He's got the most extraordinary imagination.
He's just such a lovable character. I mean, there's no way that you can not like him. And he's very, very honest.
Can I go this way?
You feel immediately when he's not really happy. And when he's really happy, you're immediately his favourite and he will tell everybody else, So you want to do it good as well for him, to see this goofy face just light up.
I love her. Cut, great. I throw myself in at the deep end with them. I love actors. I get stuck in. It was a little move off and it went off the shore and you get that and you come back, it's beautiful. But I might come up to you and go, let's try this. And you'll go, oh, I'll try it. And then halfway through trying it, I'll go, that's rubbish, don't do that, do it your way. If you see that as a strength, then we're perfect for each other. If you see that as a weakness, that I'm kind of free form and I find something in the scene, or halfway through a take, I'll see an actor doing something and then change the whole scene so that it's about that now. If you like working like that, then and as I think most actors do, then you're fine. If you don't, then we'll have problems.
Cut.
for them before.
Cut the camera. Cut.
He just says exactly what he thinks. If he loves something, he's like, yeah, it's brilliant, I love it. And if he doesn't, it's like, nah, it's rubbish. Do it again. You just kind of know where you are.
And then you have a little look, a little butchers, and then you walk off.
You know, he's a bit of a lad, and or so it seems to be. I don't think he is. I think he's an artist, a real artist. You know, he's really on the ball with every character and how the story is developing.
You look round, you read the instruction there, and then I'll bring them all in.
He also has that sense of reality and that pragmatism, which he brings to us and to the characters and makes us look good.
Seeing the men behind in formation and then bring them in, and that's a separate story.
What's he shouting?
David Lean, amazing.
More like Russ Mayer.
And Eddie? That's the one. That's it. Nice one.
Isn't he the coolest director? Look at him.
That is the Chris Smith experience.
Action.
So the stuntmen were fantastic. It's so funny, you know. It's like little boys saying, do you want to go and... Those nice German boys will be out on the field and they've got some plastic swords and stuff. If you want to go and fight with them, it would be brilliant. You know, it's what it feels like, just going out, yeah, let's go do that.
Best, yeah? Okay. And in essence, it's boys with toys, you know. One of the reasons you want to become an actor is to car chases and kissing girls and things like that, you know, and battle scenes is one of them. When throwing stuntmen over you and you feel like Superman, you know.
Brilliant, brilliant. And I like fighting to feel dirty and real, and so I thought, OK, providing it's got this energy and speed, and as long as the actors can really go for it with swords, let's try and make it really dirty and really full on.
If you're swinging swords and bashing people out the way with your shield, and you can really go for it, it's a really liberating experience, you know.
You can hear it behind, you know, it's brutal and real. I don't know what's going on, but it sounds good.
And we just come straight round onto Sean, catching him mid-fight. The actors really were up for it. The idea being that you do a slow version, a safe version with the actors, and then you'd put the stuntmen in the actors' clothes and you'd turn it up by 20 degrees. We didn't need to, because the boys really went for it.
You get people running in and out, they don't know what they're doing, people, there's swords flashing everywhere, boots flying, fists flying. It is mayhem, and it is confusion, and it is horrific. I don't think I've seen fights done as well as that, and I've worked on a lot of films, like Troy, Lord of the Rings, but I've never seen a director use the time he has available to create such wonderful fights. Probably some of the best fights I've ever seen.
You know, he's coming down full on at you, but it makes it so exciting to do it, you know, because it's real. It feels as real as you're going to get.
Hit him, Andy. Yeah, cool.
I think Chris has probably seen quite a lot of fights in his life, probably at Ashton Gate, Bristol City's ground.
Like that, and we give you a bit of a spray and then pull your bloody knife out after they've stuck blood on it.
So he's got that kind of realism, you know, and that. But the way he shot those fights was incredible.
That's so going to make it in the film.
We're doing a film called Black Death, directed by Christopher Smith, set in England in 1348. It's all very British, but actually, technically, this is a 100% German film.
This is my second time making a film in Germany. I first worked in Germany. I did 3 weeks of Creep in Germany. I just loved the crews. In Germany, whether you're the chef, the electricians, you know, any of the departments, they're all filmmakers. And you really feel that in Germany. You feel like everyone's a filmmaker.
I've been blown away. The crew have been fantastic across the board.
Yeah. Because it has been like the grave and being buried, and it was kind of really difficult. It was the middle of the night, it was freezing. But it was great. It was great because the crew were great and it was fun, and it was actually really fun. When you've got such a great crew, you kind of don't mind because you know they're going to look after you.
The locations we found are so brilliant that you know it doesn't feel like we did it in England, but it does feel like England. It feels like we've managed to transport you to a medieval world where it feels real, and it's because of the whole thing that we've created by being in Saxon-Anhalt.
Oh, it's been wonderful working over here. The landscapes and the locations we've been to have been fantastic.
Action.
This film, almost right the way through from day one, we have shot chronologically in story terms. I mean, that's really, really unusual.
We're just kind of discovering who we are and what we're facing. It's very excited to discover that day by day, get to a location and we figure it out, and it's very spontaneous.
I don't think I've ever been on a set where there was so much talent and so little ego. Unbelievable, like really wonderful human beings.
That's been great with the guys, with all of us, and some of us have been killed off now, but...
They were just such sweet, loving and caring and interesting and funny men.
Who's next?
The characters were so powerful, and the story was so powerful and uncompromising.
It is part horror film. It is part historical epic.
It's an exciting adventure story. It's also a pretty frightening and scary story. It just draws you in more and more into a fairly dark place.
It deals with the moral issues of religion and faith.
How does a guy turn from just having a love of God into someone who could be a killer for God?
Everyone goes through this horror and tries to stay alive.
It's without doubt twisted and deviant and sick, and I'm loving it.
People are going to jump out of their seats. People are going to be scared. There's blood, there's violence, there's all of those beats that people who want to see a Chris Smith movie will see. But on top of that, they're going to get a really interesting story that has relevance to today, and people will come out of the film going, wow, what have I just seen?
Famous last words.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
The fumes of the dead hung in the air like poison. A plague, more cruel and more pitiless than war, had descended upon us. This was not God's work, and our task, to hunt down a demon.
Osmond, played by Eddie Redmayne, is a young monk who is torn between his absolute love for God and his love for a girl he grew up with called Averil. It's set during the Black Death in 1348, a plague that killed 50% of the population of Europe.
How insane it was, and how massive a proportion of the population was taken away within a matter of months was insane, really.
One of our brothers who died this morning. Even the monastery is no longer safe. You must go now. You must go back to Denwich Forest, and you must hide there till this is past.
He knows that she has to leave the village because she'll die, so he tells her to go and hide in the forest, and he'll do his best to come and meet her. But we know that because of his commitment to God and his people, he probably won't be able to do that. He goes back, he prays to God for a sign, and God sends him Ulrich, played by Sean Bean.
Word has reached the bishop of a village that does not suffer as the rest do. They say it is a sanctuary from the pestilence.
There are many villages that have not been ravaged yet by the pestilence.
It is claimed these villages are beyond death's icy grasp. I must see for myself how this village is kept safe.
What part have we in this?
The village I seek lies in the Great Marsh. I require a guide, a man of God, to show the way.
So he decides that that's his sign from God and that it's okay for him to leave the monastery. So he decides to leave the monastery and go and meet his girl. On the way, he realizes that in actual fact, the men are not on a mercy mission. They're on a mission to kill a necromancer.
This kind of very dark, macabre interest in that subject, and which I think still holds today, how people were governed by religion and the great faith that was attached to religion at the time.
I will offer you all the chance to live. Renounce your vengeful God and you will be free. Keep him, and you will die.
Not one man here will bow down to you. I will die first.
When the world is in a point of change, what that does to people makes them question their faith, everything they knew to be real, relationships and all that. And actually, it's just about brutal survival, which is what the film is.
In a time of plague,
God's grip on his people is loosened. These are difficult times.
a band of warriors will unite to uncover a dark secret.
What brings you to our village?
A place to rest, nothing more.
Then you are welcome.
Nothing here is what it seems.
This is hell. Can't wait for heaven.
I'm bound for heaven, swear. Believe me. monsters are among us.
Nothing you can teach me about pain. Come here.
Turn back where we are headed, then it becomes savages.
God's fury rains down on you!
This morning, as a man, he returned to God. We thought God would spare. We were wrong.
That should be all right. That was like you won't be more in the school.
And set. Background action.
Und los!
Action. Action.
That's it. Good. Well, yeah, that's it.
Done first.
Yeah, this was. Just from off screen, just up there. Not too far, just from anywhere from beyond that wall. Can we try
Sebastian.
it down? Yeah.
And action.
Action. So do this as the order, okay, so that open. And the camera that was the over shoulder during the conversation with the abbot becomes a kind of wide on his side as the abbot pulls in. And the shot that was on the abbot this way becomes the abbot single as he watches. Do you understand? When you look at each other back and forth again, you and the abbot have a little look.
Oh, really?
Not a disdain, but a kind of a look at each other as if just to exchange a glance.
So Eddie's walking in.
Eddie's walking by from here.
Does Eddie know when he's coming in?
Okay. Perfect.
Mouthpiece will leg off like this.
Turn over cameras.
Sound rolling.
And background action. Horses.
Wide open. Is it ready? Cut.
How's that?
Beautiful. Let's just do a pick-up of the thing. That's great.
Pick up on what thing?
Just a conversation.
Right, so they're already in.
Yeah.
The horses are there. Right.
Great. Just a little pick-up.
Everyone but his two. Will we have to by the time we get here? No.
We've got some jumping down to it.
Yeah, we've got guys coming from here and from here.
You know that as I'm walking out.
Everywhere.
Yeah. One up there. Yeah, there's something there.
Yeah.
One over there.
Good. Cut.
All right, beautiful.
Without the cigarettes, good idea.
Remind you of
Umgebracht und du kommst um. Kann ich von hier runterspringen, wenn du willst. Okay.
Sorry. Come on.
Then you'll be in. And then as well as these sort of sections, we're going to be kind of getting in like that. Well, that's the head chop, you see, so I have to be in more detail than that.
Mark it.
That's it.
Action!
Yeah!
Guys, everything all right?
Brilliant!
Just go. And then they're Amazons.
Torturing my guy. So you might get this guy, me.
Thank you, Emun. Good. That's very good.
Steady band back with him in a kind of that sort of size.
Okay. Back.
Back. And then you come through. Yeah. Like that. Don't go too slowly. You go nice and slow.
Slowly, yeah. And then I stop here,
just see
and
girls.
I just see those girls, and it's beautiful, and it's mesmeric and weird.
And Eddie? That's the one. That's it. Nice one.
At the end,
Then the tension's going to come. After you've finished, what's your last...
God is restored.
No, just...
Was denn? Sie sind dran?
On the... Wait a second.
Avril is with God and so am I.
And again, say it line again.
Avril is with God and so am I.
Action.
Bring out the horses.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, that's good.
Robert?
Ja.
Sebastian?
Roll it. Turn over.
Jawohl, Chef.
So they just do it quickly. All right, let's do it.
I don't just say don't worry then, do I? What would I say?
He gives you a little look, and then you go like that to everybody. I think these are going to have to be a bit like that anyway, I think.
Do you want me just to stay here for that? I mean, once I do that, I'll sort of back away a bit, but maybe just stay
Have a little smile at him, or something, I think. Yeah. And then lay back and do your thing. Have a little moment when he sees it. And you look
When he rips my shirt
Yeah.
off, I just...
Action!
So, dann schmeiß
manchmal die Viper mal wieder an. Der eine Arm ist wieder. Und während ich come, I did look up when I was going, I begged you, like, you know, I was going back, I begged you. But you can play that.
Philipp, okay?
Das ist doch kein 110er.
110er darüber.
Jetzt nochmal, kann ich mal zurückspulen. Ja? Kann ich mal zurückspulen.
Wenn ich 2-2 nehmen würde.
Bring it back! Please, I'm begging you, just bring her back!
No, I can't. Pray to your God.
That's good. Cut, great. The story of Black Death is about Osmond, played by Eddie Redmayne, who is a young monk who is torn between his absolute love for God and his love for a girl he grew up with called Avril, who's the love of his life, who he regularly visits when he's manages to sneak out of the monastery. And it's set during the Black Death in 1348, a plague that killed 50% of the population of Europe. And it's a story about the young monk who is torn between leaving and running away with the girl, because he knows that she has to leave the village because she'll die. So he tells her to go and hide in the forest, and he'll do his best to come and meet her. But we know that because of his commitment to God and his people, he probably won't be able to do that until at least he's helped the people who lives near the village. He goes back, he prays to God for a sign, and God sends him Ulrich, played by Sean Bean, and a merry band of men who Osmond thinks are going off to investigate a village where there's no plague. And it happens that this village they're riding to is in the same forest that he's just sent Avril to go to. So he decides that that's his sign from God, and that it's okay for him to leave the monastery. So he decides to leave the monastery and go and meet his girl. On the way, he realizes that in actual fact, the men are not on a mercy mission. They're on a mission to kill a necromancer, and they know more than they've let on. And there's a demon in Dentwich Forest, and she's there obviously near that demon, and the movie is about, will he get to Avril before she's killed, and what will happen when he gets to the village. And so it's got this kind of road movie quality where on the way, as you're traveling towards the forest, you get to know the men, and you start to worry what's going to happen to Avril, what's going to happen to him, and you get to love the characters, hopefully. And so it's like a guys on a mission movie, effectively. It's a guys on a mission movie set in medieval England. Working with Sean Bean Sean's without doubt the biggest actor I've worked with in the sense of profile. You know, Sean Bean's such a star that I said to my mum, Sean Bean's in the film, and my mum knew who he was. Sean Bean! Everyone's like, because he's done so much film work and he's done a lot of TV work as well. He's kind of one of the most famous people in England in a way. Yeah, everybody knows who he is, and they all know Sean Bean. And so, but I've only known him from his film work. I've never watched Sharp. I've never watched really his TV stuff. I saw him in Red Riding recently, and he was just amazing in it. And so it's a. But how I like to think I don't have an ego. I don't walk around being the movie director who, you know, has his people around him and doesn't let anyone look at the monitor, and is very protective of himself. What I love about Sean is he's a massive star, but he's absolutely not like that. He's not someone that has this huge ego. He just loves the work. He loves to do good work, and he wants to make sure that we're doing good work. And I guess one of the main things with Sean is that he'll always do a good take, pretty much. It will always work. So the problem is that you have to always try with him and get more, because he'll do something that is perfectly good, and you'll go, right, okay. So what we did from day one was we'd always try and find that little extra something, because to give it that bit more. And Sean immediately responded to that, because I think for an actor the fear would be is that you come on set, the director thinks you're really good, and so he doesn't direct you. because he thinks, well, that works. And obviously, if you're an actor and you think about it, and you do something that you think's all right, it was really easy, you deliver a line, and the director goes, that was brilliant, and you go, was it? Do you think that was brilliant? I could do better than that. You have to find this trust with an actor to make them know that you're hunting for that. And me and Sean just got on like a house on fire straight away. And I remember he did this big scene where he's telling the story about, you know, I am Ulrich of Wolverhampton, we need a guide, that whole scene about that. And his first take was great. And then I sort of looked at it and I went, and Sean looked at me and goes, do you think it's a bit slow? I try to do his bad Sean impression. So I try one a bit quicker. Oh yeah, try one a bit quicker. He tries one a bit quicker. And I went, oh, I think there's something in between. And then eventually we find this lovely level. But it worked when it was slow, and it worked when it was fast, and it worked in the middle. And it's kind of, that's the problem with actors that are really good, is that they can just make everything work. So you have to kind of always dig for what should the character be doing and all of that. So if you were to build a set, and I know some people are just saying I'm talking complete crap now, but when you build a set, I don't think you feel it. You don't know when you're on thing. I'm sure the audience don't know, but I don't think the actors feel it the same as if you were to walk them down into a medieval dungeon and tie them to a medieval wall where there used to be torture and stuff. And I think there's something is in those walls that gives it something else. I love location shooting because I love the accidents that happen. I love the fact that it suddenly rains, or I love the fact that an ant's nest is found, because if you're the sort of person like I am that likes to work organically, I mean, I recently heard that Woody Allen doesn't do any shot lists, and he just goes on set with the actors, blocks it, acts it, and films it. And kind of think that providing you're one of those people that can think like that, which I like to do, it means that you turn up at a place, you find there's a beautiful marsh, and you suddenly decide on the spot, let's walk them through the marsh. I like that, and I think that gives the film this kind of quality that I think we've absolutely captured on this, which is this, again, it pulls it away from the over-produced, over-everything costume drama that can be great but can also be really boring. This film won't be like that, and I think it will work for an audience because of the fact that the locations we found are so brilliant that, you know, it doesn't feel like we did it in England, but it does feel like England. It feels like we've managed to transport you to a medieval world where it feels real, and it's because of the camera style, the acting, and, you know, the whole thing that we've created by being in Saxon-Anhalt. What I'm trying to look at is, if there's religious fanaticism, it's across the board. Sean Bean's character is a religious fanatic. That's his character. He believes in the absolute truth of God, the word of God, and the need to enforce the word of God by the sword. That's what he believes. Osmond is a modern Christian who believes that it's okay, you know, to love a woman, providing you love God and you're spreading the word of God in a good way by being a Christian in the true sense, which is someone that will give and help others before themselves. Why can't he also be in love? And realistically, that's probably not how a character would think in that time, but I felt it was important that we gave someone a kind of an insight into it. He's got his own version of Christianity. And if you give him that modern sense of it, how then do you corrupt him? Because if a character is to have a good journey and you start the character off lovable, you can't just make him more lovable. So I said, well, why don't we do something with this guy where we turn him, because of the actions, into this, you know, effectively into this kind of fundamentalist guy who has lost the Christian side, the true Christian side of his beliefs, and has just become, like Ulrich, a man of a killing machine for Christianity.
When you just read the title, Black Death, when I was a kid, I spent many bored hours in history lessons, but when you open up, you know, your picture book reading about Black Death, the interest immediately arises, and it's like you remember everything about it. You remember this very evocative period, and where there was death all around and poverty and a completely different world, one that we don't really have any experience of. And yeah, it's fascinating. And I think, well, I certainly hope that the audience for this film will feel the same thing. You know, I think all kids love that. You know, what's a bubo? What is the Black Death? You know, rats, filth. It's great. It's good stuff. He's a force of nature. I think when I first met him, I had no idea what I was letting myself in for. You know, I thought, yeah, he's a lovely bloke. This is going to be fun. It's going to be a laugh, because he's a really, really nice guy. And he makes everyone laugh. He makes you feel comfortable. He's got a natural way about him with people, which is why I think actors adore him. You know, he just, you know, he's the guy you want to go and have a pint with in the pub and chat. But on top of that, you know, this is his 4th film. He's a good director. And, you know, he has an incredible knowledge of cinema, which comes across. You know, he's never lacks a reference for any scene. You know, he's always saying, well, you know, whether it's Apocalypse Now or whether it's an Eisenstein movie, you know, he knows the films, and that helps everyone, you know, understand what he's trying to get across. Sean Bean has been a fantastic supporter of the film since the very beginning. He's been attached for a number of years. You know, like all films, it takes a while to get off the ground. And he's been with it since the very beginning. And that's been fantastic for the film, because you've always known that you have a star around whom you can build the finance and around whom you can build a great cast. And I mean, from my mind, he was born to play the role of Ulrich. You know, he just inhabits it like it was totally natural to him. He's a hard man, and he looks fantastic on screen. And I don't know, yeah, he was born to play the part. We're lucky to have him. It's been just great working with him. The other cast all love working with him. It always, you know, brings something to a film when, you know, when you're in the casting process and you know that there's someone there who's rock solid, and then you build the cast around that person. It makes it much easier than grabbing around thinking, well, who could play this? Maybe it should be this person, maybe it should be that person. We had the luxury and the privilege that we had Sean there right from the very beginning. And it's true, you know, each cast member as they came on, it was like, I can't wait to work with Sean. You know, he's a kind of boy's own hero in England. You know, everybody loves him. It's great.
What attracted me to the script is that, on the one hand, it's an exciting adventure story. It's also a pretty frightening and scary story, but nothing in it is gratuitous. It's actually intelligent, and it just draws you in more and more. And I love, because we've shot the film continuously, I also loved the fact, while we're making it, that knowing the script, I knew, God, the audience don't even half know what's still in store for them. And I hope that will also be felt on the screen. But the fact that this thing was just moving to a fairly dark place, and it made sense moving to that place, and it was exciting and scary and sometimes beautiful and sometimes funny moving to that place. Don't often have scripts that do that. It's fun working with Chris, because he's so full of energy, and he's got his story and his characters down pat, that even when there every now and again might be a moment where you think, hang on, the shooting there's coming to an end, but we still have this and that to do, it immediately falls into place again, that he's the one who's pulling this crew and who's pulling this shoot with him by his sheer energy and also his vision for the story that he's telling. So it's kind of, you know, this is auteur filmmaking. We trust him, I trust him, and I love what I'm seeing, and I love to see him working, because it's exciting, even when there are technical and logistical challenges to be made. It's exciting to see somebody who so loves his characters and so loves this world that he has created. So this really is the world of Chris Smith film, and I'm happy to be part of it. Well, on the one hand, Black Death is an entertaining, scary, beautiful, frightening journey through a medieval time that was quite intense. The plague was ravaging Europe, people were dying, and it was also a time full of superstition and fanaticism. And it's that fanaticism that, if you look closely, we can very easily discover in our present world as well. You know, some of the characters in Black Death actually remind me of Donald Rumsfeld, leading us all not to a secret village in medieval Saxony-Anhalt, but actually into Iraq with similar arguments, like we're on a journey of the righteous, we're battling the axis of evil. There's a lot of that in our 1348 Black Death, and I think the extremism, the fanaticism of people who are utterly convinced by the validity of their position just hasn't changed, which is frightening enough in itself.
Well, I've always been interested in that period of time, the Black Death. I mean, at school it was something that was always, I think with most kids, would be quite fascinated and interested in that period of time. The fact that it's quite macabre, quite gory, and quite scary in a way. You know, the fact that millions upon millions of people in Europe were wiped out because of it, and this sort of the symptoms of it were quite horrendous, and the graphic, the pictures that you would see in history books. I mean, it was always something that you would turn to in a history book that would be of interest, almost like a small horror film within a history book, and you wouldn't be really interested in the you know, like the corn laws or people weaving baskets and medieval villages, but the Black Death was always something that one zoned in on. That was this kind of very dark, macabre interest in that subject, and which I think still holds today. And certainly for me, I'm very interested in that period of time, and how people were governed by religion, and the great faith that was attached to religion at the time, and then the power that was attached to religion. And then when this terrible catastrophe came along, how that affected the power and the influence of religion for many years to come following the Black Death. I was always quite fascinated by the script because it deals with the moral issues of religion and faith, and the moral dilemma of what to believe in when there is such tragedy and chaos and mayhem, and almost a hell on earth. And the choice was very limited. I mean, you either believed or you didn't believe. If you didn't believe, you were treading on very thin ice from all different quarters. But I mean, certainly from the script, that's why I was attracted to the script, because it wasn't just a horror story. It wasn't about people being burned and witches being burned and bats flying around and just horror for the sake of horror. It's actually interspersed, and the whole structure is based around the dilemma of religion and how far one goes to protect oneself from these horrors by your belief. The fight scenes are always good. I mean, these were particularly enjoyable because they were so realistic. I think Chris has probably seen quite a lot of fights in his life, probably at Ashton Gate, Bristol City's ground. So he's got that kind of realism, you know, and that. But the way he shot those fights was incredible, I thought, you know, because many films that I've worked on, you know, there's a set fight, a battle. You pick out moments there, then you shoot this bit where he actually got everybody. As in a real scrap, as in a real, skirmish. You get people running in and out. They don't know what they're doing. People, swords flashing everywhere, boots flying, fists flying, and I think that what he achieved there was fantastic. It is mayhem and it is confusion, and it is horrific and really hits home the way he filmed those fights. I don't think I've seen fights done as well as that, and I've worked on a lot of films like Troy and Lord of the Rings, and they were good fights, good battles, but I've never seen a director use the time he has available and the people he has available to create such wonderful fights. Probably some of the best fights I've ever seen. Oh, it's been wonderful working over here. I mean, the landscapes and the locations we've been to have been fantastic. And in Saxon-Anhalt, you know, we had such support and generosity from the people and the communities, and it was a real joy just to be working with that kind of support. You know, I think it would be difficult to work anywhere else or to be able to achieve what we have done elsewhere, because I mean, just the sheer the buildings that are here, the forests. I mean, it's a perfect location for making a film like this.
Oh, when I heard that title, I thought, yeah, that's my film. It was the script in the beginning was quite weird in a way. There was something in it, but I couldn't really get what it was. And then it's, you know, you meet Chris and Phil, the producer, one of the producers, and they completely convinced me that they were gonna make something really special out of it. And because I was a little bit afraid in the beginning that it would become sort of a fantasy, like Lord of the Rings kind of, you know, there's nothing wrong with that, but that's not really what I was looking for so much. And they said, we're going to make it really realistic. We want to show what it was, you know, what these times were like. And Chris is just such a creative spirit and such a wonderful. I mean, I almost fell in love with him, like in a you know, in a good way, in a healthy way. Yeah, he's such a smart. His brain just goes like this, and you want to follow it because it's really interesting what he has to say and what he thinks. Germany is a much more beautiful country than I expected, because I only knew Berlin and Munich. And this is already the fourth time that I'm shooting in Germany. And all of them were really, really great projects. I did already 3 projects with the German producer Jens Meurer. And yeah, I really like to shoot here because it's close to home. It's similar, but it's more I mean, there's more green, there's more space. And yeah, it has really, really beautiful locations. We had great locations. I don't know where they got them from, how they found them, but it's really good. Yeah.
I found the era extraordinary. Like the plague is something that, as Brits, we sort of read about and flit over in sort of history classes, but how insane it was, and how massive a proportion of the population was sort of just taken away within moments, within a matter of months, was insane, really. And so I thought the period itself was fascinating. I also thought what those apocalyptic moments, or when the world is in a point of change, what that does to people, makes them question their faith, everything they knew to be real, relationships and all that. And actually it's just about brutal survival, which is what the film is. That sort of interested me, and the idea of a, you know, sort of genre adventure within that context was, I don't know, the little boy in me got excited about that. Even though I didn't get to be one of the real soldiers, you know, and have all the fun fights, I got to witness all that and ponce around in a monk's outfit. So. I really like Chris. I think Chris Smith is a mini genius, and And working with him, I've never worked in this way, which is that, you know, the script is used as the framework, and Dario has done an amazing job with creating this within the context of this world, creating such a sort of a powerful story. But Chris, you know, will take each scene every day, it changes, you know, and we're working on stuff and finding stuff and elaborating stuff, and that's what's been the thrill for me, because it's certainly working with him and discovering how he works and making this character hopefully more than he was initially on the page. This is my first time in Germany ever. My first time in Berlin was the costume fitting. I've been blown away. I really have. The crew have been fantastic. Sebastian, the DP, is, I mean, brilliant, absolutely brilliant, and a treat to work with. But across the board, the crew have been wonderful. And the locations, I mean, have been sensational. And this part of Germany was never somewhere that I couldn't even tell you what I thought it looked like, and the variety of stuff within this region has been really wonderful to see, and yeah, I would love to work here again. I hope, touch wood, I mean, it's got such a booming industry at the moment that maybe there will be another opportunity, but yeah, no, it's been great.
Sean Bean. I mean, he's Sean Bean. He's one of the coolest guys on the planet. He doesn't even have to try. I know Eddie especially finds it really upsetting that Sean's just cool, and he's just, you know, and he just doesn't have to say much, and you get what he's thinking, and he's just, I know, I love it. It's great. It's really nice to see a kind of strong, silent type, and I don't know. He's just great.
The first shot, the first time I was on set, it was a shot with Sean, and it was our entrance into the film, and I don't have a lot of horse riding experience, and that's something I was honest about, you know, before the film. I'd had maybe an hour's lesson, and one minute I'm in my trailer, just kind of putting my costume on for the first time. The next minute I'm on the back of a horse, riding towards a medieval monastery behind Sean Bean. It was just very surreal. I've kind of got to know him now, but before the film started, he's a household name and someone I've grown up watching. So it felt, that first shot just felt very surreal. I mean, just one, to be dressed, to be living in 1348, two, to be on the back of a horse, and three, to be on the back of a horse behind Sean Bean. I mean, Sean Bean and a horse just seems to work so well, you know. So I was just kind of hoping that I pulled it off. It was good. We didn't have a great deal of time with the stunt guys beforehand. They kind of showed us the basics. We got to choose our weapons, which was wonderful. We weren't just given, it wasn't like, here's your sword and your shield. We got to select and discuss what we think our characters would be armed with. And so, yeah, we literally spent an hour or two with the stunt guys working out basic moves. And we got onto the set, and I was kind of expecting, I thought we were going to have to kind of workshop it on set and figure it all out for ourselves or with the stuntmen, but they had it all organised, every single move. They knew what we were capable of as actors. And yeah, they really pushed us as well, which I like, you know. They wanted us to look good up there and look like the real thing. And it was just a lot of fun.
Well, I said yes to Black Death for the joy of working with Chris again, for all his chaos and brilliance that is the Chris Smith experience. And I remember watching the extras on Creep, Watched the extras on Creep, and everyone was saying, God, he's so enthusiastic and lovely, and he's just great. And then I was going on to do Severance after that, and I'd watched those extras and thought, oh, I bet I hate him. I really think he's terrible. But it's so unique. His sort of enthusiasm is so incredibly infectious. So the idea of doing that and spending another 3 months with Chris, as well as getting to hack people up with a big weapon, was too good a chance to miss out on.
We all entered a world on this in a way unknown. We all had conceptions about what the Middle Ages were like, but we get on very well, and we've had great fun. Like the battle scene where we fought the savages. To some extent, you're a kid, you know. That's what you did in a playground. You know, you pretended you had a sword and a shield. This is a bit more real, but it's still a film. But we had great time choreographing that, tailoring each fight to each character's trait, each character, and we all get on very well. And that's a lot to do with the template that Chris has laid down. You know, I think really, nobody's special, nobody's different. We all have a voice. We all get on, and we all try and get it done. You know.
He's a joy to work with, and I don't think there's anyone that I've met who deserves to be making films more than Chris Smith. You know, he loves it. He loves what he does. When a scene goes right, he literally giggles. He guffaws sometimes, a la sort of Terry Gilliam. You know, people talk of Terry Gilliam quite rightly as a unique sort of spirit, and you know, Chris has got the same thing. You know, I worked with Terry recently, and he just loves it when a scene goes right, and when a scene goes wrong, we just go again. You know, he doesn't sort of lose it or become angst-ridden or anything like that. We just go again.
Chris, I think, is a very special director, and I think he's very unusual. He shouldn't be, but he is, and that he's fantastic with actors, incredibly supportive. He's got extraordinary energy, but it doesn't feed into any kind of neurosis. It just fires everybody up, including cast and crew. I mean, everybody. You know, all that always comes from the top, you know, on the set, and you always feel as though everybody's pulling together, you know, and you have a good time. I mean, you actually have a good time, which isn't always the case on films. And Chris, I trust him, and I would work with him, as I kind of did. To a certain extent on this, because we knew day by day that the script was changing. I mean, initially he wouldn't send me the script. When he first asked me, he wouldn't say, no, it's not ready yet. So, okay. So I would work with him blind, really.
All who want absolution may have it. found my prayer amusing.
Yes, I did.
Your people did not laugh.
Well, they do not understand Latin. And they're not my people. I meant no offense. Please, eat and drink.
Is that our plan? Stall the boy and all the village repents.
Before dawn, we take that woman to the cage. She's the one we came for, and break her, and the village will crumble. The boy can lead them back to God.
Are you sure she's the one?
She's the one.
Where is the boy? Sometimes, in battle, I see a man's face. And I wonder, whose tears are gonna fall? Whose tears? When he doesn't return home. And when I kill him, I look into his eyes, see who he was thinking of. I only see one man, frozen in the eyes of the dead. It's me. It's me they think of when they die. No more. No more, my friend.
What's the plan?
Identify the heretic. Put him in the cage.
Split any man from his arse to his apple.
Fumes of the dead hung in the air like poison. A plague, more cruel, more pitiless than war, had descended upon us. This was not God's work, but witchcraft.
Word has reached the bishop of a village that does not suffer as the rest do.
I must see for myself how this village is kept safe.
This village we're headed to, they have cast God aside. In its place sits a demon.
We journey into hell. But God travels with us.
Where are we going?
What brings you to our village? Word of the pestilence has not reached you. Word is all that has reached us. Nothing here is what it seems.
We have no fury. We have no pestilence. We have no God.
I see no evil here, just a simple village that has not yet been ravished.
Do not be fooled. Evil lurks within this place, within these people. There is no God. Demons and necromancers are among us, as you will find out soon enough. I am death. Vengeance is mine.
God's fury rains down on you!